if I didn't want to be bullied, if I wanted to be picked on somebody's softball team, I'd stay out of the sun. Like, it was sort of like, uh, right? Stay as pale as I could be. My father is Mi'kmaq. My mother is mostly Welsh. And I grew up in an urban setting, not on a reserve. And so it enabled me to kind of, okay, toggle, you know, be more white facing, and less, you know, it's kind of interesting. I look back now at that and I have a little bit of shame for doing that. Like, you feel a tiny bit of shame because, you kind of turned your back on your ancestors. You turned your back on who you were, for whatever reason. I want to get on the softball team, or I want to get ahead in this industry, this advertising industry, or I want to do well in school. Um, but then, when if I look at it in a different light, it's like, like the Mi'kmaq people, are, uh, Catholicism is throughout, Mi'kma'ki. And, when I was younger, I said, well, that's kind of like turning your back. Like, why would you do that? And one word comes up, it's survival. Like, you need to do whatever you can to survive. And that's what they did. That's what they did then when they accepted Catholicism. They might have been thinking about the creator, Gazulk, or, but but they accepted that, and that became who they are. So yeah. So when I look back at my youth, when I stayed out of the sun, so I wouldn't get dark, that was a part of survival. Like, it's like, who wants to be bullied their whole life? Like, I grew up in Scarborough, which is a very, very multicultural place, in Ontario. Um, but the neighborhood I grew up in was very white, very affluent, and very racist. Um, and it's just like some of the stuff that I'd seen in the 70s, just it's crazy. And but those are things that I seen, so I needed to survive. And when I started in advertising, or even when I went to college to get into advertising, you occasionally hear some off-color remark or comment or something like that. And it's just like, oh, okay, I'll just, I'm corporate Jeff. I'm ad guy Jeff. And I think, and even that, being told in my early days that you need to commit to this almost gave me an out. It's like, okay, well, I want to get ahead. I want to go to the top. So I need to be that industry and put all the other things aside. Um, but I'd say as I've grown in the industry and gotten a little bit more of a voice, that's when it's sort of like, okay, that's my opportunity to, be more vocal and to stand up for, my culture, my people, and others.